according to Box Office Theory, I suppose, Captain America: Brave New World is projected to earn between 81 and 107 million dollars during its domestic opening weekend, which I call absolute bullshit on. There's no way this movie's going to open to that amount of money, even with inflation. I don't care. There's been a lot of interesting tidbits about this movie. It apparently, its runtime's been revealed at 2 hours and 15 minutes, which that's not a good sign necessarily. The shorter, you're going to have like 9 minutes of credits, maybe 12, maybe 15, with the fact that they had to reshoot it 3 fucking times. So, and another interesting tidbit was there are 6 credited screenwriters for this thing. We all excited about this one?
Oh yeah.
Well, Falcon and Winter Soldier was one of the worst things I've ever seen. So it's in good hands. So I can't wait to see what a dumpster fire it is. It's kind of funny because they got a little bit of extra goodwill, even if it wasn't a good movie, but they did get some goodwill back with Deadpool and Wolverine, but none of that would transfer to this because this looks and feels and has nothing that people liked about it. About Deadpool and Wolverine, that is. So I expect this to absolutely tank. Nothing that's been reported about it in the press has been any good at all. There is no good news surrounding this.
I do not understand. I don't understand how they can project this kind of number. It's asinine, especially when the Marvels kind of had the same reputation before it was released, and that absolutely bombed off the face of the earth. And I expect the same for this. There
might be a slight difference in the fact that they can put the words Captain America in this one, and whereas with the Marvels, nobody knew who any of them were except the one who nobody likes. The only thing we knew about the rest of them is that they were all silly women, and that we've had a lot of that in superheroes recently, and it's probably not the most appealing thing for the core audience. So I could imagine just the words Captain America will be worth a few $1 million to this movie, but I don't know if it's going to be that
not
big.
Many though, because think about it, a lot of people have no idea really that like he's the new Captain America, and so they'll see the trailer during the Super Bowl or something and be like, who the fuck is that? That's not Captain America.
When did this happen?
They have not watched the Disney Plus shows. So like what?
Do you think they're hoping for the BLM February month? The Black Panther.
Oh, for sure. That's what they did with Black Panther, and that's what they're doing here. Like, this was very purposeful of like shifting it to a February release date once they've reshot it for the second time.
Yes, definitely they're going for that, but this has nothing of that same appeal either. You know what I mean? This has none of the sort of like Pan-African wish fulfillment the Black Panther had. You know, this is just some guy that we go, oh, I guess that's Captain America now fighting a big CGI Red Hulk, and Harrison Ford doesn't look like he cares. So why should I care? I see this doing horribly.
And because like the original one was a complete phenomenon, and it had a very loved actor in it who had quite recently died, and so like you had all of these other things going for that movie as well as like the weird kind of Wakandan wish fulfillment that you mentioned. So that was attempting to be a kind of pop cultural moment in the same way the first one was. It didn't really succeed, but it did well enough. I think it earned like $800 million. This one, it's not got any of the same tragic backstory. None of the characters involved in it or the actors behind them are particularly well loved. It's obviously not going to be a particularly strong, definitive cultural moment for any particular group. And it's contingent upon events in a TV show that next to nobody actually watched. So that makes it a bit more like the Marvels than, say, Wakanda Forever was. Or even Multiverse of Madness, which I know did a lot of money, but then everything after it bombed because it was not a very good movie. But that, again, another movie which is coming off the back of a TV show that hardly anybody watched, but it was actually turns out to be critical to understanding where all of these characters have come from and why they have the roles they have. And we were once upon a time told that that wouldn't be the case. We wouldn't have to subscribe to Disney Plus to understand the mainline films. And that disappeared after the first Disney Plus show came out. So, great.
No platoon was funny while the first Black Panther, so it did 1.3 billion. But what's interesting is just in America alone was 700 million, and the rest of the world internationally was 649.
They don't give a they don't give a shit.
Just shows that like just the entire so internationally we still just in our one country did more than the rest of the world combined for one Black Panther film, and I wonder why that is for in 2018.
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
the rest of the world doesn't
Black,
care about the plight of America as much as America thinks they care. I think that's
Black Panther thinks it's a movie about Africa, but it's a movie about African Americans.
Yes.
Or like it's a very niche, particular kind of wish fulfillment that doesn't translate internationally.
And even people on YouTube would say that. And God forbid, in 2018, if you were a YouTube critic and a critic in general, if you said a single bad thing about that film, boy, good luck to your channel, pal.
I kind of missed it because I wasn't on YouTube at the time, which was really disappointing. But I was on YouTube just about in time for the second one for Wakanda Forever, and I still got called a racist because the argument I was making was basically what's just been said. It's an African American's idea of what Africa is, and actually, it's full of all these tropes that if a white person had been like directing and writing this movie, that would be called racist. You've literally turned an African nation into a bunch of loincloth wearing, spear chucking people who make monkey noises in combat. That's fucking racist, dude. But pointing that out apparently was me being racist, when actually what I was saying is that Africa's a little bit more, realistic than that.
Yeah. So was I. My video got taken down because I suggested that T'Challa might have died of AIDS. I mean, mysterious disease, Africa. I mean, what am I supposed to think?
Jesus Christ!
I mean, they called me racist, and then I dropped a lot of M-bombs. But that's another story.
As you do.
Sounds about right. No, you said Platoon. But had your channel exist in 2018, you would have said that. Boy, YouTube would have banned you.
Remember the skyscrapers with thatched roofs?
Yeah.
What the fuck was that?
Like mud huts on skyscrapers,
Oh, it's terrible.
And it's such a great, proud, and benevolent nation that as soon as it got an ounce of power, it shut itself off and allowed everyone around it to starve to death.
Yeah.
What a lovely group of people.
But and then when they decide, maybe we're going to extend, some of our wealth and benevolence to the rest of the world, they don't go to Africa, they go to Oakland, California. It's very funny.
Yeah.
And the second film shuts it down. Doesn't help anyone.
What are the more pressing social problems to solve? Is it Zimbabwe or is it lower income areas in America? Yeah, let's go there. That's definitely more pressing. It's so cringe.
The walls are like opened by a bongo drum.
Oh no, they have like a water drum in the second one, don't they? That's how they open the magical like invisible shield thing they have, and they play the water drum, and then people get through. I don't fucking know why, but I think a button would have done the same thing.
Don't think too much.
It's not exotic enough.
It's also the second one is extremely racist. Like it perpetuates it further because the stereotype is like black people can't swim, and like that seems to be their greatest
enemy.
Wakanda forever.
It ends up being right.
Yeah.
Which is so funny because it says they can't swim, and then they go, "Let's fight Namor at sea." Our weakness.
Yeah, he's coming back here, so instead of on land where we'd have the advantage, let's go out this fucking sea. Good call.
Yeah,
where he has the advantage.
It's another movie that seems to have gone absolutely nowhere because it seems to set up some massive, important geopolitical shift as the Wakandans ally with whoever the fuck the Aztecs are. And they're going to, be an alliance of the bad guys who think that they're good guys. And that should be very important because Wakanda is one of the single most important country in the entire history of the world. Sure. And we've not heard anything more about that, much as Doctor Strange has been lost somewhere in the multiverse since 2019. Wakanda Forever is just not come back anytime soon either. And it all contributes to just generally not knowing what the state of anything is. Where is this story going? Is this even connected in any way at all? Will we ever find out? Well, not from the next Captain America movie, probably.
But still, people mention Wakanda Forever, didn't do as much money. But again, it still did almost 900 million. And again, what do you think half that money, what country gave Wakanda Forever almost 500 million? So it still didn't bomb by any means, though, not as successful. But you can see why they're going to keep going with it. I mean, 900 million?
So they're bringing back
current rumor, though. Yeah, this is the current rumor that T'Challa is going to be recast. I wonder if that's like you were saying, Blue Collar, like the second movie did make money, but I don't think that her as Black Panther really won anyone over. And so I think they're going back to the well here, as they should have in the first place, and just recast him. It's not like he put on this unbelievable, untouchable performance where you're replacing like Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man or something.
Yeah.
He was in one fucking movie and had cameos in 3 others. He wasn't some ungodly figure.
Yeah, people Sorry.
Yeah, people didn't want to come. They didn't want to come across as disrespectful to him because he just died, and that was part of it. But the other problem they had is that all the other characters that lived in Black Panther 1 are women, so they couldn't find anyone to take
Right.
the throne, or you know what I mean. That wasn't just one of the lame female characters in that first movie, and
which
so
is
now
unbelievable when you consider the way they elect their monarchs is by picking each other off waterfalls. You said no one could pick Shuri up and just chuck her off a cliff? Because that seems I could do that, and it wouldn't be too difficult. Also, you say they didn't want to disrespect him, but they did tweet from his Twitter account long after he'd died, publicizing the movie. So
that's fucking crazy.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, he came back from the dead to say, "Hey, by the way, this new movie's coming out soon. You should go. You should go watch it."
Himself, Chadwick, and family of friends of his even said that he had no problem because the guy obviously knew he was going to pass away. He did say that he would have no problem with the character being recast because he understands. And I see one word where he's like, I'm mortal, but T'Challa is forever. And yeah, how many Supermans, Spider-Mans, Batmans have we had?
Right.
And Chadwick himself said, I have no problem with the character being recast. So if the guy gives his own fucking blessing, how are you disrespecting him?
I know they're concerned with the optics. They're not right to have that take on it, but that's certainly what they were thinking. And someone mentioned that the leader of the Hill tribe, whatever his name is, like the problem with that is that in the first movie, he's characterized as too much of just like a brute. You know what I mean?
M'Baku.
Yeah. I mean, that would have been a better choice, but kind of shot themselves in the foot on that one too.
Was he the one making monkey noises when he
sure
was?
Them? Yeah, he sure was.
And him versus Shuri, because he's like what 6'5", 290, and she's like 5'1".
So what's gonna happen with Shuri? Is it gonna be like Miles Morales? Like several fucking Black Panthers
yeeted off into the multiverse to do something else somewhere else, but or she might retire. Because didn't the actress say some like questionable things about vaccines? So I wouldn't be surprised if they were absolutely fine now with removing her from the A-list role, because you're not allowed to say questionable things if you're an actor, unless you're Mark Ruffalo. In which case,
what's funny. So when she said this stuff after the film was filmed, so they were fucked because they had it's already filmed. You can't remove her now.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they justify it. It's the kind of thing I think you had to pick a lane and just stay in that lane from right at the beginning. Either you commit to recasting or someone inheriting the role that isn't Shuri, and you go with that. Or if you are going to say, no, it's in respect of this dead actor, we will retire that part of the role forever. It's very hard to make that announcement and say, look how virtuous and nice we are. And then a few years later say, well, we're losing money, so we're going to actually fuck the dead guy.
You've forgotten, haven't you? Just let us do this now.